Good morning, everybody. We are coming at you live from the Liminal Pines. I am your host. I am your gracious host, Alan. The Liminal Pines branding, it's like my name is not Liminal Pines. It's kind of just like a place that I occupy. So you can refer to me by my government name. You do not have to call me Mr. Pines, Mr. Liminal, Mr. You can just call me Alan, because that's my name. But you can spell it. There's a number of ways to spell it. Most ways incorrect. In fact, there's only one correct way to spell it, and that's the way that is listed on my birth certificate. No, I'm not going to show you my birth certificate. That's weird. Good morning, everybody. This is a different kind of stream because I normally stream in the evenings, normally after work. But last night, I partook in probably 2 pounds of ham, mashed potatoes, and some mac and cheese. Oh, and some rolls. So I was having myself a fancy little feast. And let me tell you, it was delicious. Let me also tell you that I had some pretty bad indigestion last night, which caused me to not sleep the best. But that's fine. Everything's good now. I woke up this morning, didn't eat breakfast because I was still full from last night, but I did have 2 delicious cups of coffee. And while I was having my cup of coffee, I was playing a video game. Let me tell you a little bit about that before we get into our show and tell segment of the stream. I've been playing the Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater remake, also known as Metal Gear Solid Delta, or it might be that, or it might be labeled Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater Delta. I can't remember exactly. It's weird stuff. I just call it Snake Eater, the Snake Eater remake. Those who know the channel know that I am a pretty big Metal Gear Solid fan. Take a lot of inspiration from Hideo Kojima's games. I take a lot of inspiration from Metal Gear Solid and Death Stranding. Like I would say that I'm a Kojima glazer. Send me to prison. I don't care. I understand there's like there's this thing called the auteur fallacy. You know what like an auteur is. An auteur is like when a piece of creative media is so heavily influenced by one person on the creative team. Most of the time it's going to be, if you're working on a movie or a video game, it's going to be the director slash writer. If it's a book, it's going to be the author. That's a given, I would say. If it's a comic, it would be someone who is both writing and drawing the comic. So that's what an auteur is. And I would say in today's day and age, we put a lot of praise on the idea of the auteur, someone whose creative vision is so incredibly strong that we just attribute everything to them. But the thing is that with whether it be a movie, a game, or even music, a lot of the times there is a lot of influence from a bunch of different people, and a lot of the times those people have quite a bit of say in how the final product turns out. So when I say I'm a Kojima glazer, I do understand that he is not the only person that makes his games. That being said, his creative voice is pretty strong, or at least it seems that it is. But I like Metal Gear Solid. That's all. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I do enjoy the Metal Gear Solid series quite a bit, and I'm having a lot of fun with the Snake Eater remake. I'm probably a third of the way through the game. I'm about to do the Fear boss fight. I think that's about a third through the game. I'm fairly certain it is. The game with the new coat of paint, just as good as I remember. I played it not that long ago, the original. So when I'm done playing that, I'll go ahead and give myself a pat on the back for completing something, because I don't complete a lot of things, and we'll move on from then, and I'll give my review of the remake. Good morning, Habes. Good Sunday morning. Another thing I want to mention is that we are free balling the drawing setup today. I do have a standing desk, and I don't use the stand feet. You buy a standing desk, you would think to stand about half of the time. I've really only sat at this thing, so I figured this morning we raise the desk, and we're gonna stand and walk around while we draw today, this morning. I can't really think of anything else to like talk. I guess this is where we do the show and tell segment, right? First thing I want to show off is I got this little, it's a little cube oh my god, I hit my desk. It's this little cube Pomodori timer, and I've been using it. I got it for Christmas, by the way. I've been using it for drawing sessions. I think I have it on the vibrate mode right now. It has the little numbers, and depending on what side you turn it on, it sets the timer for that. So this is very nice. So when I am drawing, once I do get finally get drawing, the issue is not forcing myself to draw. The issue I have when I'm drawing is like forcing myself to take a break. I think like a lot of artists can relate to this, but you know, you do have a little bit of a fixation when you get drawing, and it's hard to remind yourself that you are a human being. You are a brain inside of a skull that's operating a big flesh mech, essentially, and we have physical mechanical components that can get weary, tired, fatigued. So it's good to remind yourself in my case, every 25 minutes or so to stand up, do a little spin, walk around a bit, stretch, get some water, and then get right back to it. It's also really good for structuring just like study sessions in general. I do a lot of drawing, but I also do a lot of writing. So it's like I set the 25-minute timer, and that's when I write. It can get pretty fatiguing because, you know, you're using your brain and you're trying to do a lot of problem solving. So having that break every now and again helps to sort of alleviate that mental strain, and it can help a lot with a burnout, even like creative block. If creative block is a real tangible thing, it can help with that. So I recommend at least getting yourself a little timer to put on your desk. And if you don't really want to have a little timer, that's on you. You could also just use your phone. I just don't like being on my phone when I'm doing my creative activities. Well, my phone is my camera here currently, so I technically can't be on it right now, but I do not like to have my phone like on my person when I am doing my drawing stuff. So I will place it somewhere else in the timer. Is of course how I keep the time. So yeah, that's the first thing I want to show off. What's the second thing I want to show off? I keep on hitting my desk. I apologize. I got there's a little fish, like a little fish guy, like you know. Anyways, isn't that fun? Isn't that neat? That's so cute. Okay, I have a soft spot for like Lego as a brand. Nostalgia, some would say, because things were better when I was a kid. So, I like Lego a lot. Been trying to get rid a lot of my Legos, though, because as an adult, I love being attached to my childhood whimsical nature, but I also have to deal with the practical challenges of day-to-day life, which is like cleaning and keeping things organized so I don't go crazy, and that includes getting rid of a lot of clutter, in which case it's just like a lot of Legos for me, but you know. But you also got cute little fish. You got little fish critters here. It could be like a little. You see, if you took that off, it's like those are fish flippers, but it also is like wings. But I don't have like a bird on it. Well, oh wait. My wife got this one right here. This one isn't mine. That's why I didn't show it off first. But it's a little peacock. And I like the little smirk this one has. I think smirking is so funny. Uh, there's just something so quirky about a little smirk that just gets me going. In the Wicked movies, um, Cynthia Erivo, who plays Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, the green one, um, in both movies, she does this like little smirk thing like all the time. And when I'm watching those movies, that's literally the only thing I can pay attention to. And once you see it, you can never not unsee it. But she's always going like, I can't even do it without like taking myself not seriously. She goes like, it's a character, so it's like I know that's like probably not what she does in real life, but I think it's such a funny character trait. It's like it feels like smarmy and like pretentious. Um, not that I really like care, obviously, but oh well. Um, One last thing that's like not art related that I want to show off is what I have been reading. I have been reading Alan Moore's V for Vendetta. This is a colored copy of the comic, and I'm gonna be real. I would like it better in black and white. Um, but this was on sale, so that's why I bought this version. It's pretty good. So far, I'm like 100 pages, and I have read Watchmen before. Oh my god, here's a little bit of a Watchmen tangent. People act like you can't read Watchmen unless you have read like 20, 30 years worth of comics books beforehand, or else you will not understand it, which I think is which is so funny because it's like you can enjoy things for what they are, and with Watchmen, it's like, yeah, it does do a lot to subvert the superhero comic book genre of the time, and I can still read it and enjoy it. And like literally all you have to do is just like read like a little trivia thing being like, oh, it uses uh like a subdued complementary color scheme. Like, okay, it uses a 3x3 panel layout. That's cool. It does this with the characters. Like I can understand that without having read like all of the Golden Age comics. So just read things. Don't let people gatekeep things, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Watchmen is a very good comic though, and I like Alan Moore's writing style, so I picked up V for Vendetta. So I'll let you know what I think about that. I'll probably make a short on it when I'm done reading it. I don't know when that's gonna be. Gatekeeping much? Yeah, gatekeeping. I can understand gatekeeping things you love. Actually, you should be gatekeeping the fuck out of everything that you love. Because once people start enjoying that thing, they're gonna ruin it for you. Oh, yes, Habes. I did say that. I got married in October. I've been keeping it on the down low. You know how it is. But this isn't my actual ring. This is my silicone one. Wait, let me go get my actual one. I'll be right back. This is my real one. It's tungsten on the outside, and then it's got some wood. Some epoxied wood on there. It's so weird with this thing because I've never worn like a ring before, but in the morning my finger is like swelled and fat, so it's harder to get off. But at night, literally, I can just go, and it's super easy. But yeah, it is awesome. It's a big step in my life, and I'm very happy. Um, well, I've also been with my wife for like It's almost 10 years now. We've been together since high school, so it was about time. We're also going to Universal Studios in February, so next month. I'm a little excited. Some could say I'm a little excited. I'm gonna say hi to Mario. I'm gonna say hi to Luigi. I'm gonna say hi to Toad. I'm gonna say hi to Homer Simpson. He's there. But anyways, enough about all that stuff. Us let's go ahead and we're gonna point the camera down, and I'm gonna show you what I've been drawing over the past few weeks, including some of these right here. You've probably seen these shorts on the channel if you're a regular. We're gonna show these off. This is one. God damn it! What? This is one from last week. I can't I'm looking at the camera here, and I don't know what is my left and right. This is one from last week, and this is the one that I'm working on for this week. So I'm gonna show those off once we get this camera pointed down. I have to move my microphone is on the desk right here. I'm gonna show those off, and then we're gonna look at my sketchbooks. Yeah. Oh, one more thing before we get down. I'm pretty into weightlifting, and I've been getting into the gym a little bit more consistently here recently. And I did a max out day last week, and my bench, I have gotten up to 175 pounds. Pretty good for me. The goal is 225, obviously. That's like the guy goal. My squat is at 240. Not perfect. I was trying to hit 250, but I just couldn't do it. Oh well. Next time, right? And then my deadlift is 245. So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling nice and strong and nimble like a rabbit. I'm feeling nimble like a rabbit. But yeah, so the physical health is going pretty good as well. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna point the camera downwards. Let's look at some drawings. Also, I hope everybody's having a good Sunday morning. I'm not a churchgoer. Did I break my light? No, I unplugged my light. Yikes. I'm not a churchgoer, but I do respect people who who do go, and they want to go. I think that's great. Because while it may not be for me, it's definitely something that some people take a lot of joy in doing. So if any of you are going to church, I hope you prayed today. Also, I'm speaking away from the microphone. I apologize. It's probably not perfect. I need to fix my light. Yeah. If you saw the setup right now, you would literally have your hands on your head and you'd be saying, "What the hell are you even doing? Like, what the hell are you up to?" It seems as if my cord will not reach the socket when I have my thing like this. So give me a moment to do some problem solving. Good lord, it should not be this hard to find an outlet in this room, surely, right? Okay, yeah, that works. It's dirty here, I'm sorry. Why is it so nasty? Okay, show and tell. Here's the one from the short last week. I've been taking a lot of inspiration from, there's this artist that I follow on YouTube primarily. Their name is Henderverse, so go ahead and give them a peek. And I've been taking some inspiration from their hatching style, but of course these are like original pieces of artwork. But I've been experimenting with the way that I do hatching, because I've been meaning to sort of like innovate with my style just a little bit more. So this is kind of a step in that direction. I quite like, you know, layering up the hatching for texture. I love using the negative space created by the foreground and the background. I love the natural aspects. I've always had this issue with drawing foliage, right? It's incredibly hard to draw foliage that is like dense but also not like too cluttered, or ugly. You know, you can tend to just like put lines down and it just doesn't really do it. But I feel like in this way, like layering up the hatching and using the negative space for, like, say, like the leaves here, it does quite a bit. And I will be experimenting with the way with drawing this way further as time goes on. I feel like this is a good step in my growth as an artist. It took a while to get here, though. I will say. Wait. Oh, hello. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, Lizard Wizard, this is a question. Why the change of name? Were you tired of Lizard Wizard? Because I feel like I'll always know you as Lizard Wizard from here on out. Like, I will be the OG. You know, it's like back when my channel name was Extra Normally, and I changed it to Liminal Pines. You probably have to go in a couple minutes. That's fine. I am not offended if anybody can't like stick around for the entire live, because, you know, I'd be rambling sometimes. Here's the piece that I'm working on for the next shorts. This one, I've experimenting with doing like this horizontal hatching to kind of make it look like misty. This is taken like inspired by a art book that I have that uses a similar technique. But I had this like really old print from a really old book of like some ships in a harbor, and I thought like the composition and negative space was really cool. So I sort of took that and used that as inspiration for this right here. But I finished recording it this morning. It'll probably be edited and up by either tonight or tomorrow morning. No rush though. Mad Dog sounds cooler. Valid. I'll call you Lizard Wizard in my head, but if you want me, I can refer to you as Mad Dog from here on out. So for this one right here, I still haven't erased the penciling. This is still postcard proportions. This is 6x9. I'm using these shorts and these pieces of artwork as preparation for the postcard prints that I want to do, because this is the size that I want to do for the prints, because I want to take this and then shrink it in my editing software. So hopefully like the scan will have it at a high resolution, and sort of taking that and shrinking it will make it a bit sharper and therefore make the print quality just a little bit better. So that's the goal with this, and this has been good practice for that, getting used to the sizing and sort of how much space I have on the page. You were reading a book to kids the other day, and there's a Lizard Wizard, and I wondered if that's where you got it. Wouldn't that be like super ironic if like that actually was? I think of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard when I think of Lizard Wizard. So yeah, I know my music. I know my experimental rock groups. But yeah, those are those. And here's, I showed them off on the Discord, but here's some test prints that I did on just some like cheap cardstock. This is the one I was just like messing around with sizing and format. This is the one that I had, and even though I shrunk it by probably over 50%, it's still the level of detail on it. It's not amazing, but it's also not awful, so that bodes well for the quality of the prints that I'm going to be able to do. This is just an old postcard. Let me go ahead and put my books over here. Okay. I'll show off my larger my junk sketchbook first. I gotta raise this up quite a bit. Oh, my light just swung and almost hit me. Do I have this on? Let's go ahead and widen it. Ooh, you can sort of like see, like you can see me at like a weird angle. Oh, this is my desk. Go ahead and lower this down so you can see this a bit easier. It's gonna be a little warped though, just by virtue of the focal length. We'll start. There's a butt right there. Gross. We'll start. We'll start here. This is just doing some portraiture. Again, taking, you know, how I love my Kim Jung-gi and I love the way he draws people in places. So I was like doing some observations of his, like his posing and the way he layers up facial features and stuff. And I was using that to do some portraiture. And I like the semi-realism of Kim Jung-gi, and I want to sort of mix that with sort of the semi-realism of Takehiko Inoue, sort of combining those two together and sort of coming up with something that's like a little bit more unique and to myself. And, you know, my tastes as an artist grow over time. Hopefully my abilities do as well. We have my pen over here. Some more of the same thing. Yeah, this one that's Dream. If you're into your Minecraft lore, Dream is a Minecrafter, and he did a little face reveal. So I drew that. I don't condone anything that Dream does, by the way. I do not. I don't think I would get along with him. But also, like, internet drama is weird, so I guess we shouldn't really be paying a lot of attention to that. Here's some like little sketches that I did for the one piece of artwork that you'll see on this next page. Right here, this is like a little test sketch, sort of from using a little bit of reference for the pose, but also kind of just like sketching. These are screenshots from the My Hero Academia show, and I've been trying to. I'm working on this art piece, and I'm getting a little bit of artist block from doing it, but I'm also like having fun doing the problem solving for that. And this is the art piece. It's the the anatomy is a little bit wrong here. The delts are sort of uneven. The traps are also uneven. The collarbone should not be curving like this. It should be more like an S shape leading up here. So I need to fix that in the next sketch. Here we have some more anatomy studies. These are just done with pencil, and this is sort of looking at the shoulders specifically is what I'm paying a lot of attention to, and just maybe not like aiming for ultra realism, but definitely trying to get all the shapes and the lines looking good while also being mostly anatomically correct. You got more portraits. This is sort of trying out, still trying to do the Kim Jong-gi thing, throwing in a little bit of uh, extra, I guess, me in there. That's the best way I can describe it. These are done with pen. This one is a freehand. Yeah, that's the only one that's a freehand. And then the rest are sort of done with pencil sketch with pen on top. We have more anatomy stuff. Again, focusing on pose and really like the shoulders. Definitely paying a lot of attention to that. Here's this is using like a reference, but I sort of like messed around with the proportions of the face a little bit, and then I drew it again. Colored pen. Here I was trying out like a different way to do the eyes of this right here, because I'm not 100% sold on doing the eyes like this, but yeah, that's gonna have to, it's problem solving, you know. This is a from imagination sketch. It's not like crazy, but you know, getting better, I feel. Then here's another anatomy thing, and then that right there, it's also another from imagination, but it's really nothing. But I think I made the head a little bit too small here. Even though it's foreshortened, I still made the head a little bit too small. And that is where that sketchbook concludes. Go ahead, take a peek at this one. This is my anatomy sketchbook. I've been working on it since around November. Trying to do proportion and mass and everything. I'm really just trying to get those rhythms down. I'm trying to get to those proportions down, and I'm trying to learn the structure of the human body so that I may be a better artist. And it's hard, and it's frustrating, and it's taking a lot of mental energy to like learn all of these things, but I feel like it's gonna do me good in the future. It's also fun to draw. I mean, I do like the process of drawing, so I can't like be like, oh, this sucks, because it doesn't really suck. I do have fun when I'm drawing these things. You can tell like when I get bored of like doing the pencil stuff, I'm like, okay, let's throw in some colored pens, let's throw in something extra, you know. Yeah, and then there's more shoulder anatomy stuff here. This is using Bridgman constructive anatomy. So like here, I was looking at the shoulders from the front, and then this is moving on to the shoulders as viewed from the back. And what's good about the way that I have structured my Bridgman studies is that like earlier, before legs, way before, you know, you're looking at like the chest muscles, but you're also looking at the back muscles. And so I went from that to the legs, but now I'm going back to the shoulders, and that gives me an opportunity to go back and brush up on like the chest muscles and the back muscles. So that's been very nice. It's sort of helping me with retention and learning those things. And this is from yesterday. So the volume output isn't amazing, but I've been drawing like a bunch of other things on the side, so I can't be too mad at myself for that. And that is where we are going to, that's where we're going to hop into the drawing today. We're just gonna be drawing a little bit of just some shoulders from as viewed from the rear. So I hope that people who are watching, if you stick around, that's cool. If not, that's also cool. Either way, this is going to be some pretty valuable practice for me. If you got any questions, or if you want to know, or if you have any topics you want to talk about, feel free to chime in. If not, also cool. I'm going to be listening to music while I'm drawing here, and yeah. Well, ooh, let's. I'm gonna be using some of these colored Papermate pens here. These are I bought these just to take a break from the pencil and the pure black ink. So these are going to be our drawing utensils for the day. Speaking of like bricks, as we were talking about earlier, I'm gonna set myself. We're gonna. No, I put it on the wrong thing. Set myself a little timer here. It has a 5-minute timer. If you put it this way, it pauses, but we'll have it like that right there. To take a break from the drawing. Am I doing this as a hobby or do I have a goal in mind? So like here's like my story, right? High school, didn't know what I wanted to do. I went to college. I got an English literature degree, graduated, and kind of had a vaguish idea of what I knew I wanted to do. It's like, you have interests and hobbies and stuff that you want to do, but I really wasn't too into art. Uh, like from like high school to college. I drew a bit in high school, but like never seriously. And then like through college, like I barely drew at all. So that was a good 4 years or so of not really doing anything really. So I graduated and I was all like, I like need to find direction. And I was like, I want to write stories and I love visual mediums like movies and comics and whatnot. And I was like, I want to write my own stories and I want to do them in a visual way. And I'm one guy, can't really make movies with just one guy, movies that would be good anyways. So I was like, I am going to dedicate myself to learning art so I can make my own graphic novels. And that is where we are currently. I graduated in 2024, I believe. Or maybe it was, no, I think it was 2024. Yeah, I graduated in 2024. And yeah, I've been dedicating the past 2 years to getting better at art. And I have completely fallen in love with with learning art. So that's good there. But the idea is like if I put all of my eggs in one basket, what can I accomplish? And that's kind of what we're doing here. Very early midlife crisis. Yeah, I decided that I needed to get it out of the way. But I'm learning art for art's sake currently, but I am also writing a graphic novel, or a comic, if you will. So that is the little like journal that I keep for physical writing. I also have a thing printed for like all of my like digital notes. And yeah, I kind of just want to, not even that I necessarily want to be able to make like a fortune or even a living off of making comics, but I want to do something that's creatively fulfilling, like in a philosophical sense, but also it's like a skill, and it's a useful skill, especially as technology improves. You have generative AI sort of taking hold right now, and I think people are starting to realize that like they valued the human element of art quite a bit, and they're looking for avenues where a person such as myself is dedicating time and energy into improving in that regard. And so that wasn't the plan initially, but I guess it's a convenient thing that's happening right now. So yeah, I mean, I'm just I'm enjoying my time learning art, uh, and like honing my sense of style, my tastes, uh, and it's been very fulfilling, and I'm very happy, and I feel like my sense of direction has been has been super like straight here recently. And it's like I know I have been improving, especially if I'm looking at some of my first sketchbooks, and that's very nice to see. So it's just kind of proof that if you like dedicate yourself to something, you can learn anything you want if you really put your mind to it. And that's where I am here today. The YouTube channel isn't even really like, I guess, like a real like YouTube channel in that sense. It's not like the biggest creative venture. It kind of started as a way for me to sort of document like my journey. But it's also turned into like if I feel like writing and editing a video essay. That's my timer going off. We'll go ahead and pause it for now. Um, if my YouTube channel, if I feel like I want to write a video essay over a piece of media I enjoy, I'm also allowing myself the creative space to do that because I like writing and I like the visual mediums. So it's good practice in other ways. And I like talking about the things that I love, and I think everybody, should engage with things critically, and I like doing that. Again, I have an English literature degree, so like I spent all 4 years of my college life just like analyzing books, pretty much. So I mean that's my jam. You know what I mean? Like I love writing, and I love literature, and I love comics, and I love everything. Embrace the things you love. Um, I'm gonna go. This might be a little bit TMI. I'm gonna go take a restroom break real quick. So I encourage anybody watching to go ahead and take a break yourselves. Get up, stretch, drink some water. Do what you need to do. Um, we'll be back and we'll do some drawing. So see you then. And we have returned. Let's do some drawing. Go ahead and put these right here for now. Let me go ahead and pull up just some sort of reference image. I thought about doing some active recall today, but I feel like that would be a pain to set up, so I was doing it in my free time when I'm drawing. So here I'm just gonna have my reference images pulled up on my screen right here. I don't feel it very necessary that you guys need to see the reference images that I have here. If you would like to see what I got going on as my reference image, you can make a request, and then I will oblige. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna have it. Oh my, I got too many tabs open on my thing, on my computer. Okay. Yeah, in the meantime, I'm just gonna be doing some drawing. I think I'm gonna do blue as my first thing here. Get comfortable. I need to scoot my chair forward a little. I'm gonna be sketching dudes here mostly because I feel as if I do like drawing men, but I do feel like musculature wise it can be very exaggerated in a lot of ways, so it makes it a bit easier to draw. I do draw females sometimes, but not as frequently. But just know that I'm not completely being like, oh, I will not draw women. I will draw women. It's just it doesn't happen as frequently. But I have been like reading and watching on how to like draw females as well. And I don't. Good morning. Who is that person? I don't know who that is. Who's that? Could everyone in the chat please say get out of my stream? Okay. We're gonna line of action. So I think we got a little S-curve thing going on here. Go ahead and we're gonna bean it as well. See the arm. Let's go here. Do some exaggeration on the flow here. Okay. So here's what I'm gonna be looking for with these right here. I'm paying attention to like the scapula, you know, the shoulder blades, because those are gonna be very visible on muscular people from the back. So they form this sort of obtuse angle, you know, if you look at like it's going to be like that. That's what your shoulder blades are going to be like, and they're never really going to be parallel unless in like a very specific position, but that's going to inform where we place our trapezius muscles. Go ahead and we know our neck is like roughly right there, but we know that the trapezius connects in part to the top of the scapula, so we can do that there. Same thing on this side. That'll be part of our trapezius, and then we know it connects down to the scapula down here, and it creates this sort of arrowhead looking shape. It's more like that right there. And then that'll be our trapezius. Then we know our lats, they sort of connect to the lower back down here, and they create this like belt that hugs you from behind, but while it also hugs you from behind, it also connects up to your humerus, and it goes around your rib cage, you know, makes this triangular shape. You see that from here. This is also all very messy. So I apologize. This is the sketch from underneath. You can see that from that side, the latissimus dorsi is going to connect to the humerus from the front. But I guess from the rear here, wherever you're going to be looking at it, it sort of is a little bit, you can see it's overlapping the arm. Then it's going to swear this will all come together. It is a bunch of scribbles right now, but this is also my first drawing of the day, so we gotta be a little nice here. Your delts are gonna they're gonna sit like a cap above your arm. Of course, you have your triceps to sit underneath that. This person has a little bicep peak going right here. I'm just gonna draw that and then call that the arm there. Traps, lats. And then, at least from here, viewed from this angle, your traps are going to overlap your deltoid muscle quite a bit. So go ahead and block that in. And then the triceps, viewed from the back, are going to sort of flow into that. Yeah, a little rough under sketch. We're just gonna go ahead and do this from here. I'm gonna pen it up from here. I'm gonna do some corrections as we go as well. First correction I think I probably need to do is I think I might have extended the torso a little bit too much. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna shrink that considerably. That was my bad. I wasn't paying too much attention to the proportions going on there. The next sketch will call it now will be a bit more clean than this. Probably shouldn't have used blue. Maybe it was a bit too dark. I'm also being very scratchy with my pen lines here. They're not amazing. I know this person, their head is like that right there. That right there is a very rough little anatomy warm up sketch. Can show off a bit of, if we do some hatching, we could show off a bit of the form of like the arms and the delts. So we can darken lines of places that are being overlapped. One thing I've been trying to do when I'm doing these like anatomy pose studies is I am trying to I'm trying to keep in mind that like T's are very like satisfying. So it's like those kind of show a lot of, by T's I mean like overlap in the muscles. So like right here you have a bit of a T, here there's a T, like right there's no T right there, but like here you got this sort of like T shape. It looks kind of like, you know, it goes like that and then it goes like that. So kind of just like throwing those in wherever I can is going to help a lot with like communicating the form, but it also it is visually satisfying. All right, that one was wrong. We need a different color. I think we'll use yellow instead, right? Probably be a little bit better. Let's go ahead and find another good reference image. I'm looking mainly for shoulders. Here's a good one. Try and pay a little bit more attention to the proportions as go around. Being a little bit too loose and sketchy, but warm-ups are like that. So here we have our like rib cage, right? Rib cage, and we know the rib cage down here sort of is flat, and then, you know, from the front, I guess it would be this would be higher in the front, but that'll sort of be a rib cage shape. Bridgman likes to emphasize the lats by following this roundness of the rib cage, so he'll use like a very round form, at least in his sketches. So we're gonna be employing a bit of that. We have our shoulder girdle. That's like right there. It's pretty level with the ground, and then the arms are raised slightly. So we're gonna throw our shoulders, they're up a little bit, and as far as the arms go, they're pointed away. So we'll go ahead and, you know, that one's pointed a little bit away, this one's pointed up a little bit more, and then that sort of flows into the waist, which will show as like this little cylindrical shape. So that should be a good base. I can see based off of my reference that the shoulder blades, because the arms are raised, you know, your arms are connected to your, this is like a general shoulder blade shape. Socket's going to be like roughly right there. Your humerus connects into your shoulder blades kind of like with this like little right angle right here. So that means in order to like raise your arms, your shoulder blade needs to sort of move up to compensate with it, and that's a good tell when you're like drawing a person from the back. You can use that to sort of like, okay, I know the shoulder blades, because their arms are raised, are going to be, you know, flared outwards a little, and if the arms are forward any, it's going to wrap around the rib cage a little bit more. And you can use that to place the traps, because we know the traps are going to sit as this triangular shape right here, and it's going to connect to the top of the shoulder blades. As the shoulder blades, you know, the acromion process meets the collarbone in the front, then you're going to have this little arrow shape going right here. Then your lats are going to wrap, of course, around here into like your mid back. We already got that going right there. Then you'll have these little bumps right here. Those will be like your teres major and minor. Those are the muscles that are responsible for like rotating your arms backwards. They'll create another little bump when viewed from the rear. Then with your shoulders, this person's got them raised, but they're going to sort of overlap right here because they sit on top of all of this. We'll make some unevenness because they don't connect in the center, nor are they perfectly symmetrical on either end. Show that like that right there. Then especially for this arm right here, since the arm is facing forward more, we're going to see a lot of foreshortening of that shoulder. It's going to look more like a ball when viewed from this angle. Show that off like that right there. Finish it off by doing a little bit of rounding of this as it sort of goes into the head and the neck. You can see that this individual's head sort of connects. That right there. Side of their face is way over here. We'll just use a cube to show that off. Yeah. Then you can, of course, see the obliques from the side. There's also going to be, from all of these muscles bunching up right here, you're going to have this little divot that's going to show up. And a lot of people, and it's only going to follow like the entirety of the spine in some way. Like that. Let's go ahead and we'll use a thicker pen to get these lines a little bit thicker here. So we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna get our outlines out. We're not gonna follow the lines all the way to where they are. We want to leave a little bit up to the imagination. Trying to show those overlaps where they occur. The muscles bunch up here, so there's going to be a little bit of a like divot created right here as the delts push into the traps, and it's going to bunch up and create a little basin right there. We want to be a little bit confident when placing these lines, even if they're not going to be, 100% correct. We want to make them as continuous as we can. That'll help it look a little bit more confident. Confidence. We associate art style a lot of the time with like confidence, but the thing with like art style is that art style is just like mistakes made by one person, and sometimes those mistakes can just look really good because they confidently employ them. So that's what you want to do. You want to embrace your mistakes confidently. Now you want to have an underlying like rhyme and reason to why you are doing like why you are making those mistakes, but as you are making those mistakes, do them confidently. And this is coming from a guy who does like not have an art style currently, so so I'm not saying confidently do everything I say, but you know, this person is like looking at the side because they have like they got like an ear right here. There's a bit of rotation going on. Then that's gonna like go to the legs. It's like that. See, the thing with like muscles is that they are going to like they're gonna overlap other muscles, especially once you like think of them as like three-dimensional objects. There's gonna be a ton of overlap there, so you want to consider that a lot of the time when you are looking at them. It says the lats connect to the spine with other muscles. And your lats are gonna do a lot of wrapping as they connect to your spine here in your lower back, and they're gonna wrap around to the front of your arm bone, your humerus. It's like here's your shoulder blade, and it's like your lats that come up. Then they bulge out because they start from your back, and then they go like around to the front of your humerus, and they do a little wrapping, kind of like that. Not that exaggerated, but they do a lot of that. They sort of whoop, and then it wraps around your arm to the front. So that's why you can see your lats on more for like really muscular people, but you can normally see the lats from the front of the body. And they create this big V shape. They create this really big like Dorito looking shape in the bodybuilding space. It's called having like a Dorito, like a Dorito taper. That's kind of just doing a little bit of semi cross contours to show off a bit of the form of what's going on here. Not that you need to do this. This just helps, in my mind, at least visually, to see like what shapes are we dealing with here, you know? Of course, there's going to be a little bit of a divot there, as we saw. So once we get up here to the traps, it's like, they connect to the shoulder blades here. They sort of create this really big this roundedness, this huge mass that you can see, especially when viewed from the front. A lot of people will think that, like your traps, I mean, I don't know if I could like sketch it out cleanly here, but it's like if you're going to be viewing the human body from like the front and the side, I guess like that right there. We'll say this is the shoulder girdle, you got like the chest there, got those right there, your neck. This isn't perfect, but your traps, it's like your traps are going to connect this isn't like a perfect rendition of like how like the shoulders and stuff are gonna look. So your shoulders, when viewed from the side, you kind of naturally, your arms fall pointing backwards, so you won't see a lot of your shoulders from that side. But it's like your traps, they'll they'll create a pretty big, I mean, maybe not this exaggerated. My timer, I apologize. It's time for a break, but I'll finish what I'm saying here. Your traps will create this noticeable bump in the back. Your back has a lot of muscles in it. And you want to demonstrate that. Not only is it like satisfying, but it's also like, you know, you're introducing a bit of realism. So like, don't be afraid to like put some like volume right there, you know? Yeah. Especially as shoulders are gonna pop. And then they'll do a little bit of recession as you're looking at it from there. I'm still not entirely sure. I haven't gotten to it quite yet. I'm not entirely sure how the neck. I know the neck connects from the rear to like the back of the skull through the traps, but I'm still not entirely sure where all the muscles are inserting right here exactly. So that is a gap in my own knowledge, and I apologize for not being able to cleanly show it off. But I would think I know there's some tendons and stuff that connect to your collarbone. I'm fairly certain those will be like right there. Yeah. So yeah, you'll see a pretty big mass from your traps right there. Let's go ahead, take a break, drink some water. I'll be back in a few minutes, and then we'll get going again. So All right, I've returned. We'll go ahead and we'll do a few more here, and then we'll call it a morning. Hope that y'all have been enjoying the drawing. Hope you've been enjoying, you know, playing a little bit of ketchup. Ketchup. I like ketchup. Ooh, here's a really cool one. So it seems that for this individual here, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna line of action it. I'm looking at the curvature of the spine. It's looking like this right here, and it's coming down straight. Like that right there. So I'm seeing this. I'm seeing like the rib cage, like this right here. Try out a little bit, like for the pelvis, let's go ahead and show it off as more of like a box. Sort of seeing the pelvis like that right there. And I'm seeing the shoulder girdle. It's very much so like this right here. And the arm is brought back a little like that right there. And the arm is facing us. So it's gonna look a little bit like that right there. And then this arm is down here. And it's facing away from us. And we'll show it off like that right there. They're almost doing, they're like holding their arm like in front of them, like they're like holding like a knife or something. And then if we use what we were talking about earlier with the rib cage and the lats, we'll know that the lats typically follow the flow of the rib cage. And they're going to, I might have placed the arm a little bit too far back, so we'll go ahead and we'll bring it up here a little bit more. But your arms are gonna connect to your lats. You'll see that from the rear. And it's gonna create this sort of like flow. Like that right there. Especially here with this arm. Since they're leaning to the side, you're gonna see a lot of squash and compression happening there. Quite a bit of squash and compression, but we know that that's where the lats are going to compress because they're such a big muscle. They're going to pinch right there while they're stretched on the other side. As far as the shoulders go, from this angle, from this person, triceps are going to overlap them a little bit. We're not going to see too much of the shoulder heads right there. We are going to see, because this arm is sort of brought back and sort of raised up a little bit, there's a lot of squishing of the traps right there. It's going to do a lot of overlapping right there. Whereas from this side, because the arm is sort of brought forward and extended outward, we're going to see a stretching of the traps. So it's going to be a bit more of a straight line. And the head is more or less like that. Right there. Maybe you can see a bit of the front of it like that. And your shoulder traps are going to sort of meld into that. Your shoulder connects to the front of your humerus. So we'll end that line there, and then this line of the shoulder, can't really see it all that much, but we know it's sort of roughly right there. And then because we have a lot of overlap going on right here from the trap, from the shoulder and the lats, we're going to throw in some overlap there. And also view the arms like it as like a cylinder, you know, like roughly. But if you want to really get down and specific with it, at least like once your shoulders get into like, once your shoulders connect to your bicep is kind of like a little like a square that sits on top, and it's gonna sort of, this is a very bad square, but it is gonna sort of exist as a bit of a square as it connects. So you can sort of square out the bicep there if you really want to. Helps add a little bit of like asymmetry to it as well, especially as things like wedge into each other. So you can see on our model here, you can really see sort of where their spine sort of ends. You can really see where their like pelvis is, because they don't have a ton of body fat, which helps us sort of place things a little bit better. Yeah. There's some muscles being bunched up quite a bit right here, so I'll throw in a little of that right there. And there's not a lot going on right here. There's a little bit of a divot formed by like those bunched up muscles, and they sort of start extending that way right there. But our shoulder blade is pretty much like right up here connected like that. And then this little bunch right here is where that shoulder blade, like the muscles are retracting and bunching up right there. I'll go ahead and go pen it over right now. I'm gonna do a bit of correction as well with the position of the arm, because I got it a little bit wrong, so I'll go ahead and start with that. It seems as if it goes more of the tricep right there. Seeing a little bit of asymmetry in the form. Extend it out a little bit more. Let's see it more as like a little square as it flows in to the shoulder. Shoulder pretty round on our figure here because it's bunched up. I'm going to use straight lines to sort of convey a little bit more structure there. One thing that I have been paying attention to quite a bit when I've been doing these is also like, where can I use straight lines and where can I use rounded lines and what do they convey? I normally perceive straight lines as like being very like strong and structural, and the rounded lines kind of showing movement and form. But overlap there. You'll see some like overlap here just because of the lats, but you'll also have the teres major and minor that connect to the arm as well. So you'll see some bumpage there. I'm definitely like, I'm exaggerating like how far the lats are going into here so I can like show that compression a little bit more. It's kind of funny with this person, their butt crack is showing. And for them, it's sort of like doing their glutes. We don't got to worry about that right now, though. Just got to know that there's also overlappage going on there. Go ahead and we'll show a bit of like the lineage here with the spine, especially as it comes down to here. Again, this person is rather skinny, so there's not too big of a divot happening here, but there's a divot happening there nonetheless, so we'll go ahead and show that off. So your shoulder blade, your scapula, where it's the arm is sort of coming back, the scapula has to rotate inward a little bit, so it's pushing up those muscles there and bunching them up. Can darken these right here to show there's some overlap, right? Because these muscles are bunching up a bit, sort of see they're being brought up and around more. It's roughly where the head is. And the neck would connect like up here to the base of the skull. That's roughly what we got going on with this person. Can go ahead and set that right there. And then we'll go ahead and we'll show the cross contours of this a little bit better. So we know that since this is connecting to like the spine at an angle, it's sort of got this thing going on, especially as it overlaps with like the shoulders here. There's a lot of darkness going on here because that form is sort of going up and around right there, yeah. Same with here. Because this is like a trunk, sort of cross contours happening like as a circle around the trunk. We'll even see a bit of wrapping as the lats extend to the front of the body. I might have brought them a bit too far outwards. That's my bad. But they're gonna sort of come around to the front of the arm. It's gonna be like around right there. These aren't perfect cross contours. Some bunching of the traps right there. Stretching of the traps right there. Yeah. Say we go ahead and we do one more and then we call it a morning. Sure, everybody here is wanting to go and do something else. Well, I need to figure out what I'm going to do for the rest of my day. I am probably going to work out later. I've been feeling some soreness in my left leg around like my knee tendons. I think it's because I walk a lot at work. So I need to rest those, but I can work my upper body, which should make me feel less lazy today. All right, I think I found the last one that I want to do. So this person standing pretty up straight. There's a bit of like a curve to the spine, so we'll show it as that right there for the most part. Not too much is going on there. Connect it with the trunk right there. Lats coming out quite a bit. I mean, not too much right there. Shoulder girdle. Their arms are sort of brought. Normally when people hold their arms out, they'll bring them in front of them quite a bit, but this person is bringing them back quite a bit, which is causing the scapula here to turn, rotate inwards, but also rotate outwards because their arms are sort of raised up above their head. So we'll show that. At the tops of the shoulders, like that right there, creating this little, shoulders create a little triangle shape. Since they're brought backwards and bunching up, they're sort of, they're definitely capping over everything. Same thing with like, they're covering up the lats here because they're going to be connecting to the front of the arm, which is rotated. Which way would be rotated? Up and around? Yeah, so it's like the arm is being rotated like around that way, you know? It's going whoop. So if you're thinking of like a pivoting like rod, it's sort of, it's being brought up like that. Where all these muscles connect, they almost seem to meet in the same point. That's because like all of those armpit muscles are kind of all overlapped quite a bit. Well, fill that off. That right there. Roughly like that. And our traps, of course, they're going to connect to the neck right here. Their head is sort of bent to the side a little bit. I'll show that off. That. It's a similar thing on this side. Then, because this person is sort of squeezing all of their back muscles to like bring their arms backwards, there's a lot of pinching happening here with like the scapula, of course. And it's going to show us our trapezius, so we do got a lot of musculature going on down here, but also these muscles are going to create quite a big divot into the lower back as they, because these connect to the spine when when the muscles get too big, or when they're pinched back, they sort of they insert at the spine, but when they squeeze or push back, they tense up in the center, and it creates that little divot. Let me make their waist a little bit slimmer. And it's definitely because they're doing a lot of squeezing here. Those traps are being squeezed and utilized like that. I'm really sad to admit this, but I did not know until I started doing these anatomy studies, and it sounds so dumb, but I didn't know that the arm connected directly to your shoulder blade. I was under the impression that it connected somewhere to like your rib cage, but your shoulder blade is pretty like it doesn't, it only connects to your rib cage through like your collarbone, and it sort of moves around quite a bit, which makes sense now because it's like your arms are like, these like very highly mobile uh appendages, so they need to be able to glide around quite a bit. It's just I'm like sad to say that I just didn't know that until I started doing all this. Okay, go ahead and pen this up. So we know the muscles connect there. They do some overlap and come down, create because they're squeezing, creating divots, connect to the shoulder blades right there. And lats connect to the front of the arm, so we see that happening right there. Then they connect down to the lower back, and they do some wrapping around here, but we're just going to show that overlap there. And then the triceps sort of like are hung by gravity, and also like create a bulge in the back. This is my timer, but we're almost finished, so I don't need to take another break. Made the head made their head short. Don't worry, there's a we got a Minecraft dirt block sitting on top. It's like the army cut, you know? Like that. You got those. Yeah. And then we'll show off because there's like this V that's happening right here because those muscles are being bunched. We'll show off. You know. These little divots happening. Like that. That right there. And we'll throw in some cross contours so we can show the forms. These muscles are being bunched up quite a bit, so they're going like that. A little bit taper in there. There's a lot of stuff going on here. That. This isn't the best penmanship. I'm not holding my arm in the best way. Like that. So we're seeing like we got the trunk here, which sort of cross contours there. Lats, which sort of go boom, in, divot, boom. Then as all of these muscles go in here, they're doing a lot of bunching up, you know. And the bottom of the arms, because that's mostly a cylinder. We'll cross contour it as if it were a perfect cylinder. So yeah, we got all of these things that are going on. All right. Sounds definitely, those are some really good anatomy studies. Go ahead and mark it. There we go. All right. I think this has been a pretty good little anatomy practice session. Of course, I probably got more out of it than you guys did because I am the one that's like sitting here actually like drawing it and doing the observation. But I hope that you could at least see that there's a bit of a method to all of it. I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, do this up here. My timer reset. Oh, hello? I'm trying. I sat down again if you couldn't tell during all of that. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my timer off. Easy. Okay. Well, good stuff. Hips. I didn't even, I'm gonna be real. I didn't even think you were still watching. But thank you. That was beneficial to learning. The goal with the anatomy studies is I want to be able to not entirely draw it all from imagination, but I want to get there eventually. But like we're taking the baby steps, so taking some time to learn the the simplified forms, how the muscles interact with each other, what overlaps what. And as I like start to do more active recall exercises, you can sort of try and figure out like through intuition how things are supposed to look. And then as like as I become a better artist and I draw more and more, one day I will be able to like recall all of that in the brain. In the brain. You were sketching away? Bing, bingo, bingo. That's good. I hope you got your drawing time in for the day. I try and get an hour a day now, and I'm pretty consistent with it. Like I definitely do draw every day now, usually for an hour or even longer. So my consistency has been pretty good on that front. I kind of want to take here fairly soon. Like I think I'm gonna take like a week break just for like to refresh the brain and so I don't burn out. But the consistency here has been pretty good, especially compared to last year. Last year I was having wrist issues, some wrist pain, so I was not drawing like at all for like a good like 2 months, and I legit thought that I had like lost all of the stuff that I had learned. So I'm glad that now I'm sort of taking things a bit slower but more consistently, and yeah, seeing improvement in that regard. Thank you everybody for watching this stream. I had a lot of fun doing my little anatomy studies. Go ahead and check out the other videos on the channel. Watch the shorts, doing some art shorts. If you liked this live stream, check out the other live streams. There might be some valuable stuff there. And I will be streaming maybe next week, maybe the week after. I'm not going to make any promises quite yet. Kind of just going to do it now whenever I feel like it. If you want to be with a community of like-minded artists, please go ahead and check out the Discord. I'll try and remember to put the link to that in the description of this stream VOD. But yeah, I hope all of you have a great rest of your day. Stay drawn, stay ballin'. Stay drawn, stay ballin'. Stay drawn. Stay ballin'.